I got into dispatch by chance. A friend of mine said, there's this job with the city of LA. It pays pretty well. You should try out for it. So one Saturday, I took a civil service exam. It was a ridiculously hard test. And a couple months later, was invited to an interview. A couple weeks after that, a typing test. A couple weeks after that, a background investigation and a physical. And 10 months after I took that initial exam, I was offered the job of police service representative with the LAPD, which meant I was a 911 operator with the PD. And I worked for LAPD as a 911 dispatcher for about 10 and a half years. And the most difficult call, or the worst call that I ever took, was a series of calls. It was always the domestic violence. Working the phones in LA would occasionally get two parties who were yelling at each other, a husband and wife, or a couple. There was a kid screaming in the background or crying, and it could always hear the tension in that situation coming through the phones. My best call was a call placed by a 15-year-old young man who was contemplating committing suicide. And in that 10-minute call, I was able to reason with him and see that life was worth living, and that the officers who were responding, knocking on the door, could help him. I no longer work for the LAPD. About 5 years ago, I left to do training and speaking full-time with my company, The Healthy Dispatcher. And the reason I do what I do now is to empower 911 professionals across the country with tools to thrive in the profession and to do their calling. I am Adam, and I am 911.